Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com, and this is just before Christmas, and I was planning on taking off. Now I'm reevaluating everything. Uh, Most people have Christmas plans and stuff like that, so I'm kind of holding off on heading to Oklahoma. Because like I say, people have other things they got. It's far more important than what I have to share. So, uh, but so I'm not leaving yet. I don't know when, but it is coming. And so don't forget, text me when you see that I'm coming to your state, and then we'll make arrangements where we can meet up sometime. But anyway, what I want to talk about is a lot of this. Okay, when I make videos, I share my experiences, and normally I share what I've learned, and I do it through experience. And like I say, I'm dyslexia, so I learn differently than others. It was funny when I was a child. Like I say, I lost my mom really, really early, and my dad thought, well, he'll spank me and make me do things, and he figured out that didn't work. Now, he figured out he has to explain things. The Chinese culture, explaining things isn't one of their strong points. They like to tell people what to do, and then they ridicule you and make fun of you when you don't do as you're supposed to do, or when you make a mistake. And then they do all this is how I learn. And that's why I make so many mistakes, is because I'm doing things, and after I do it, I figure out, oh, that's why you don't do this stuff. And that's why my father was shocked because what he did, he finally figured out the way to get my attention. If you really want to make me do something, then you threaten me with sending me to a military school. That scared me. I didn't want to do that when I was a little kid. That's why he was so shocked when I joined the Marines, and during Vietnam, of all times, and the Marines were the ones that were dying, and he just could not believe I would do something like that. And when I came back, he realized I wasn't the same person. And why? Because I learned personal responsibility. Now, I don't know if it's the same thing now as what it was in '67 when I went in. But at that time, once you are a Marine, you can go into any military. I know in the United States, and I think in a lot of places throughout the world, because that's what we've been taught. We've been taught how to use firearms, and we've been taught to take personal responsibility. You can assign us a job, and we will do this job. And we don't do really well when you try to tell us how to do a job in detail. And that's because we think. Marines are known to think. That's why they can put us in really weird situations and we come out. And that's why when we lose leadership, I've talked about when we were in Vietnam, we'd lose our leadership, but we're a fighting machine. That's why they call them machines. Because like I say, even without the leadership, we already know what our goals are, and we continue with our goals even without leadership. And that's basically the same way when I teach people. In most things, I find out, like I deal with health, and I deal with personal safety. And in both of those cases, I always ask what they are in fear of. What is it that scares them? Well, I'm scared I'm going to have a heart attack, or I'm scared I'm going to, whatever, and then, okay, I'm going to get mugged, so, and I want to go into detail on that, on what part of that scares them. And then whatever scares them, I either, when it's personal safety stuff, we make that situation happen. Once you understand how the situation is going to happen, it's a lot easier to respond to it. And then in the way of health, okay, same thing. Well, why are you going to have these problems? Well, it's probably something you eat, drink, breathe, or your lifestyle. And if you make changes early enough, you can avoid a lot of these problems. And when you take the proper action, you get in the proper habits, then you can get through all this stuff. Now, one of the things that sometimes, not too often, but sometimes I feel kind of bad when I answer comments. The part that makes me feel bad more than anything is when I misunderstood what I read in the comment, and I respond on that. And I say, I've learned when I'm attacked, I go on attack. I mean, that's the way I've been able to survive all the situations I've gone in. And the same thing goes with the same thing when you want to ridicule me or say I'm wrong. Is the first thing I always ask is, okay, how am I wrong? And then give me an example. That's why I like it when people make comments and they tell a little story about this is what they learned, and they say what happened to them, and then it makes more sense to me when it's something like that. It doesn't make sense to me when somebody says, well, a professional told me this. Okay, well, okay, I understand a professional told you this. Okay, but why? Why and how does that work? Didn't the professional explain that to you? And the thing is, a lot of times they won't, because they don't even know. This is what they were taught, and they just pass on what they were taught instead of what they've learned. And this is what I try to get across to other people. I want to know, what have you learned? Give me an example, so then I can understand that. But I don't understand when you just say something. You can call me racist. Okay, great. You can call me anything you want. Give me an example. And it's the same thing on the mask. Well, you have to have the mask. Okay, I will say the same thing. Okay, why? What is it that the mask is going to do? And when I say this, I'm asking a true question. I want to know what it is, why. Now, if you are just repeating something you've heard, then, that's why I say the majority of the time the majority is wrong, because they're just repeating what they were told. And I don't do stuff like that. If I did as I was told, I wouldn't be traveling all over the places that I go, do the things that I do, own businesses the way I do, and stuff like this, because if I listen to these people, they will tell me, no, you can't do this. Okay, why? Give me an example. Because the thing is, if I know why, I can fix those problems, so then I can do whatever it is I'm doing. But I need to know what is it that's going to stop me from doing something. And like I say, and I've made videos talking about experiences with the mask and how it limits your oxygen. This is something that no one has been able to counter. And the reason is, it does limit your oxygen. And the body needs oxygen to be healthy and function properly. So that's something that nobody can, you can say, well, and then they come with me with, well, you need the mask for our protection, for other people. Okay, I'm not sick. So how does that happen? How does me wearing a mask is going to help anybody? I mean, To me, that's just as stupid as, okay, go in quarantine and you're healthy. You know, I've learned the sickly people are in quarantine. When somebody in your family catches the flu, what you do is you quarantine them. You keep them away from the rest of the family because everybody's going to get it. I mean, and that's what the quarantine is about. When everybody's healthy in the family, they don't quarantine them. So I'm thinking, why is it that people are doing such stupid things? They don't ask questions. They're not asking why. Why do we have to stay at home? Why do we have to stay 6 foot apart? Why do we have to wear a mask so nobody can see who we are? I don't have to smile. I can't talk to anybody, so you're losing your social skills. So, I mean, I can think of a lot of reasons why you don't do a lot of this stuff, and very, very few reasons why it would work. And then we're right back to, I had somebody say, well, there's 16 million people that are contaminated with this virus, and 300,000 have died. And my question is, 16 million and 300,000 die, and then now all of the healthy people have to pay the price for the sick people? I mean, that it doesn't make any sense to me. Now, if you've got an example, you can share your thoughts, I would go for it. But when you just start spouting this stuff out, I don't go for it. And the thing is, I've noticed, even on the radio, I keep hearing this stuff. You have to wear a mask. You have to do this for the safety of others. But they don't explain any of this stuff. How does it save others? I mean, I know it's making me sicker because it's limiting my oxygen. And then all the crap that gets inside this mask, I'm breathing it back in. So it's not only I'm limiting my oxygen, I'm circulating nasty stuff that I'm trying to get out of my system. You know what I mean? So it just doesn't make sense. So I'm thinking that it's just propaganda. And we know it is propaganda. We know, because I think everybody knows commercials are trying to convince you to buy their products. It's this form of propaganda. It's all the same kind of stuff. Repeat. Even though it's not true, they repeat it over and over, and people believe it. The more I hear it, the more I keep asking why, how. Give me an example. Help me understand. But they don't. They just want me to blindly follow. Kind of like what my dad did. You can't do this, you can't do that. Well, if I listened to my dad, I wouldn't have been doing anything. But I didn't. I looked for the right answers. When I teach, I don't even tell people things that they don't know. Normally, I'm repeating stuff that they already know. They've just never had it put to them in that particular way of looking at it and understanding how that works. And this is what I think is our problem. And now we've been in this martial law kind of thing. I even hate to call it martial law, but it's everything that martial law wants you to do. Stay away from groups, because they don't want, when you're in martial law, they put you in that so then you don't talk to others. That's what it is. And then, like I say, stay at home. That's one of the first rules on martial law. Stay at home. They put the curfew up to make sure people don't go out because that's the time when people get a chance to talk to each other. And like I say, they're trying to stop all that talk. But they don't want us communicating with each other. So then one of us will say, hey, why do you do that? And then you feel like an idiot because you don't know why. And then you will make changes. This is why they don't want us talking to each other. And like I say, in martial law, at least they'll use some kind of troops to, show an appearance, like why you can't do this, and they'll stop you and stuff like that. But everybody just kind of goes along with it. And I think we've gone along with it so long that I'm really scared. I'm really scared that it's going to hurt our society as Americans. Americans aren't known to be anything that this martial law or these rules that we are supposed to take, mandates, they're not even a law. We have a constitution. The constitution says make a law out of it. If it's that important, make a law. They haven't even made a law on this stuff. And so what's happened is mayors and governors, these people, they've all turned to dictators. And then they use the police to enforce all the stuff that they're just making people do for no reason. You know, and give me a reason. Give me an example. And they don't. And I don't know how much longer our society is going to be. Now that 3%, you know, the revolution, 3% is what did the fighting. Well, I understand where that 3% comes from now. Because it seems like it's about 3% that don't go along with all this stuff. And everybody else just getting in line, not asking questions, not doing nothing. It's really amazing me. But like I say, it's the way it's presented to us and we blindly follow. This Mike, NoStressMike.com.